Hello and welcome to Platypus Scotsman for another tutorial. This we're going to go over snow, but mainly ice, on how to make ice. I did it a long time ago, but I gave my pieces away to someone. Anyway, we're going to jump into that. But first, it's kind of funny, just a side note real quick. More people are finding out that I like shirts like this, friends and neighbors, and so they're buying me shirts and different things. Had a friend of mine that just went to Michigan and bought me this shirt, and had another, someone that we know bought me a deck of cards that were Bigfoot cards, so it's kind of funny. Anyway, hope you enjoy this tutorial, hope you get something out of it, and let's go. So I'm going to use a sheet of I am going to use a sheet of sheet styrene as my base, because then I can peel the sculptor mold off of it. I need to turn my phone off. I normally like to mix in a tub, and this is why, because it's hard to mix the bottom, but it doesn't matter in this case because I'm just going to mix it on here. I want to paint the ground burnt umbar. I want to be careful not to hit the logs, because I kind of want to keep the logs the way they are. I want this to have a cold feel and not a warm feel. So I'm going to gray out the logs on this more than I normally would. Alright, I made a wash of the same burnt umbar, but I want it to be fairly thin. And I believe in painting most everything that you put on a terrain piece, even though it may still have some of the natural color through it. But just kind of soak it in. I'm going to paint the rocks hippo gray, because I want this to have a cold feel, and it's brown, but when all said and done, it'll have a colder feel because of the snow and everything. I painted the frozen pond area hippo gray as well, and now I'm going to do the first layer of dry brush on the wood, the hippo gray. Okay, I'm going to now dry brush with some cabinet gray and not go very heavy handed with it. Maybe add more than one layer if I need to. But I want to start out light because I don't want to overdo it. I also don't want to go very far down on the sides either, at least all the way to the bottom. I'm going to go with the soft gray now, and I want to make sure that I go really light on this. And I'd rather hardly have any paint on my brush at the very get-go than have too much and ruin it. So, and not apply very much pressure. I'm gonna hit the rocks with no oil. Normally I'm not a big fan of doing this, but on terrain I do it more often than not. I do it more often than I do on other things. But because I want this to be a cold piece, I want my rocks black or darker. Now I'm gonna come back with Druchii Violet and do some touch-ups on the wood. I'm gonna treat this almost like, not really a dry brush, but very, very light. I'm gonna actually kind of try to paint a little bit. And it'll be mostly in the crevices and creases and where there's going to be shadows and things like that, just to exaggerate some of the shadows. So I'm going to play around with some Reichland Flesh Shade and put some on the rocks here and there just to give it a different color so it's not all stark. I'm gonna do the same with Druchii Violet, just kind of slap it on here and there, mostly at the bottom. I want to dry brush a little brown iron oxide on the rocks just to give them a little bit of different color, not a whole lot. I definitely don't want to go too light or on a color because I still want this to be kind of dismal and gray and stark. I'm gonna go back now with the hippo gray and start to bring it up, bring the gray up. And I want to come from the top down just to simulate light. Normally I'd bring the rocks up higher, but since I want it kind of stark, this is as high as I'm going to go. It's a Calumet gray. And I want to be light-handed with this. I don't want to be heavy-handed. I kind of want to just focus on the tops of the rock. I don't want to go down too far on them. I'm going to use some Elmer's or PVA glue to put down. I want Elmer's because I don't want it to dry as fast. I want to have time to move this around so I can apply the turf. I'm going to use Woodland Scenics Fine Turf. It's the green blend. I think it's a mixed blend, but you can find it on their website or get lucky enough in a local hobby store. I'm just putting it down on parchment paper. That way, if it leaks down at all, parchment paper has Teflon in it, so it won't stick. I don't care if it's really thick. I just want to have I don't care if brown shows through because ultimately there's going to be a lot of snow on this. Now it's all been applied, I'm just going to now wait till it dries and go from there. Now that this is all dry, I'm just going to get rid of all the extra flock off of it. I don't care if some brown shows through because the majority of this is going to be covered with snow anyway. I want to mix a wash with some Elmer's glue and some iron oxide and also some water just to put over the green, just kind of seal it up, make it darker. I don't want it light, and I don't want a thick wash. I want it more translucent. That's what I'm going for. What I'm going to do now is kind of rub this a little bit, just kind of roughen it up, give it texture, and also bring some of the green back out. But like I said, most of it's going to be covered, so it's not that big of a deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the double boiler to melt some wax. I have a little bread pan and a strainer, and then I'm just going to put it over top of some boiling water. It's kind of a double boiler method. I don't want the wax on direct heat. That's per the instructions. Also, if you're a youth, have adult supervision in it. Don't do this on your own. And so melt the wax, gonna pour just a first initial layer and let that set up and cool. Alright, I'm now pouring the second layer. When I did the first layer, I threw it in the refrigerator, and I noticed it cracked on its own because I was going to paint it, but it cracked on its own, so that's good. So maybe throw yours in the refrigerator, it might help. Looking back, I probably just do one pour and just let it set up like I did before. Doing the second layer kind of hit all that good stuff underneath, but it's what it is. So I scored it a little bit more with an X-Acto blade. Now I'm going to do some Mod Podge and put over top of it just to seal it up so it makes it a little bit tougher. I'll mix some Elmer's glue and water and make a paste with some baking soda in it and start applying it to the base. So it's kind of a mess, but there you go. That's the first layer. I might have to go back and do touch-ups. Usually on larger pieces, you have to do that anyway. So there it is. Now I just wait for it to dry. So it is complete. Well, maybe. But we'll start brushing it off. Well, that's a wrap on another tutorial, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope there was something you could use and that you could apply to your hobby, your tutorial, your gaming, or whatever you want to choose to do. And but if you want to kind of see a body of work, well, not all the pieces I've done. If you check out the outro at the end, it's kind of my portfolio of things I've done in the past and things I've done now. But one thing I do regret in this one is I wish I would have not done a second pour, because the cracking that occurred in the first pour was fantastic. I was going to paint it, so there's going to be a layer and there's going to be some white paint below it, but I chose to scar the top with an X-Acto knife. In the future though, well, I'm going to do some test pours. I still want to monkey around with it because it's been a long time since I've worked with wax, but I'm going to do that. But if you do want to see other places where I post, do it on Instagram as well. And we also have a Facebook page, and we have a Facebook group. But one of the most important things you can do for me, if you really like this content and you're getting something out of it and you enjoy this channel, please share it. Please share the tutorials, get it out there. It's really tough to grow organically, being so new, just the way the algorithms work and everything works. Yes, I'm sucking up to you guys right now. And like it, if you like the tutorials and like what you get out of it, and leave a comment. More than happy to engage with you and carry on the conversation if you have any questions. But like I said, the most important thing you do for me is like and share, just to get the word out there and let other people know. I've been long-winded on this one. You have a great day, great night, whatever you're doing. Kick back, watch TV, play some games, and enjoy yourself. And until next week, have a good time. Ciao.